Hey,
It ain't gonna
they
happen.
said I
Yeah,
am.
let's
They
go.
said.
Last 2 weeks it's been Joe.
Oh, wow.
I don't know, Joe been beat.
You know,
How you doing, Denzel?
How you doing, man?
Doing well, thank you.
20 minutes? That's dedication, bro. That's dedication.
Appreciate that.
Denzel, what was going on with you Sunday in Baltimore? What was the problem?
Yeah, I think just man, I was dehydrated. And yeah, just couldn't really shake back and get back right.
Has that been a problem for you throughout your career?
What's that?
Cramping?
Yeah.
Did you have some IVs and you were
Yeah, I was
to
trying
do
to-
it? You
yeah.
couldn't get on the field. And it was so hot throughout the summer. You guys practiced in 90 degrees so often. Were you surprised that your body responded that way, even though I know it was hot down there?
Yeah, definitely was surprised. Wanted to shake back and get back for the team. So I definitely feel down about that. But yeah, that's what happened.
Denzel, was it frustrating then just to not be able to get back out there as the game kind of spiraled away?
Yeah, it's always frustrating. I mean, this is the game I love playing. Like this is my outlet for a lot of stuff and what I enjoy doing and playing and being out there for my guys and stuff like that. And just not being out there for them definitely hurt. And whether win, loss, draw, and yeah. So
As you're watching that, Denzel, and as you're trying to get back out there, are you thinking that you really could have made a difference?
I always feel like I could make a difference. Being out there on the field. But yeah, just gotta be out there.
I don't know the science of it, but with all the sports science specialists around here, how is it that could happen?
We're human. I mean, we're human. That's just, I don't know, that's life. That's the human body. Stuff happens. And you just got to find a way to deal with it, get through it. And, yeah.
What is the pre-game, even Saturday, to maybe prevent that from happening? What do you have to do?
Yeah, just IVs, hydrating. And, yeah, just find a way. Salt packets.
Was it particularly frustrating because you guys had such a big game in Baltimore? You're going up against Lamar Jackson. Such a big game for you to be out there against Zay and all those guys. Does that make it even worse somehow?
Oh, yeah, every game is always a big game. So, I mean, I want to just put all the focus on them. But just being out there in general, I mean, every game's a big game.
Denzel, Green Bay seems to push the ball downfield a lot through the air with Jordan Love as a gunslinger. So that must make you feel good, right?
Yeah,
Asking for
yeah.
targets.
Yeah. Definitely makes me feel good. Looking forward to getting those opportunities come game day and get a chance to take the ball away, help the team out.
Denzel, it seems like, too, watching them, even with Reed being hurt for them, that he spreads the ball out. Just what about the capability there with the different targets he has and the ability to spread a secondary?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's a great quarterback, make all the throws on the field. Like you said, he's spreading the ball around to all the receivers. So everybody's going to get their targets and get their chances.
Denzel, you said last week that sometimes to get turnovers, you got to force the issue. What does that mean to you? What is forcing the issue?
I mean, it's really just keeping it simple. I mean, doing your job, doing your technique, and I mean, the plays are going to come to you and just locking in once they do come, finishing them, and taking the ball away. So really just nothing too spectacular, but just doing your job really and taking the ball away.
I mean, we talked to you so much about trying to create takeaways last year. What has Coach Stefanski and Schwartz done to try to emphasize that, even though it hasn't happened in the first game?
Yeah, just talking about it. I mean, you got to talk about it, know that it's an emphasis of ours and like what we need to do, and then going out at practicing it, and then trying to take those practice habits and taking the ball away there into the game.
Do you need to take a risk to get a turnover sometimes?
Maybe. I mean, you never know. It just depends. It's hard to say, but maybe sometimes.
What do you think about where you guys are right now? Obviously, you're 0-2. But what do you think about your team's chances to get back on track, stay in this thing, and hold everybody together?
Yeah. All it takes is one win. We focus on getting that first win of the season. It takes one and build on top of there, and that's the goal going into this week.
I know we talked about the different vocal threats for them in the receiving corps, but what is their strength as a unit that you guys have kind of looked at to prevent this?
Yeah, I mean, they can do it all. They got a great running game, and Jacob's a powerful runner, able to make guys miss. And then Love, like I said, great quarterback, spreading the ball around to all the receivers. So they kind of do it all, but they're good at everything. So, let's go present a great opportunity for us, and got to go get it done.
Denzel, I know Cam was in a handful of tough positions in that game against Baltimore on a few of those touchdowns. Like, what do you tell a guy like him or Miles, who, a lot of times they're seeing some of these situations for the first time in their NFL career? Yeah, just
can't get discouraged. That's the game. That's the game. Sometimes those guys get paid as well. So, guys are going to make plays, but just having that fight and being able to fight back and just continue to compete out there.
What makes that Green Bay scheme so effective?
Like I said, they got the right guys. So, great group of guys. Jacobs, Love, able to spread the ball. Great quarterback, and they got a good team. Seems like they got a good system over there.
You think it's more about the guys and like the plays they're running?
I think they go hand in hand. That's the point of a team. Got great coaches, great staff, great players. You put it all together. You put a good product out there, and that's how it goes.
What makes Jacobs such a strong running back? I think he's got a touchdown in like 11 straight games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably lift a lot of weights. And I don't know. Yeah, you had to ask him that, but he just seemed like a great running back, and able to make plays for those guys.
Denzel, they have led both of their games 17-3.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it be great to be on defense with a 17-3 lead once?
Yeah, every game is different, so we see come game day what presents itself, and just got to manage the game as it goes, and just whatever it is, find a way. That's the biggest thing.
So, I realize you're focused on your side of the ball. You can't worry about what the offense is doing or not doing. But all that being said, when the offense is scuffling a little bit and trying to find their footing, how do you prevent your side of the ball when you're starting off so well and starting off so fast from getting worn down in a game? Get to the fourth quarter and you just, you've been out there so much or whatever. How do you prevent not allowing mentally and physically getting worn down?
Yeah, just refocusing, I believe. So every play, just knowing what our job and assignment is, and locking back in on that. And you can't look at the scoreboard, can't look at the time all the time. You just gotta just keep going out there playing hard, and just find a way.
I know how you guys felt last week about being 11.5-point underdogs, but now here you are at home, and I think you're 8.5-point underdogs in your own house.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, we gotta take care of business. We're there for a reason, so we gotta own it and take care of business and start flipping those numbers around.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Denzel. Yep. Glad you're feeling better.
Thank you, man.
Looks that way.
What's up?
Can you talk about going against this amazing Green Bay Packers defense and all they present?
They're good. They fly around. They get to their zones, they come after the run, they get after the quarterback. They play with a lot of speed. They don't second guess themselves. So they're a good group.
Joe, the pressure that they bring, got 8 sacks, 18 quarterback pressures, things like that. The importance of, is there even more importance this week of trying to get it out super fast?
I think, when you build a plan for certain things. And I think when you go through your progressions and you go through your reads, it's always built to get the ball out in certain timing. So I think you just got to, kind of rely on your training and going through your progressions and listening to your feet. I think the rest will take care of itself. It's just part of the game. I think there's other things that come into play when you talk about their pass rush as opposed to worrying about trying to get the ball out super fast. It's just part of your reads, and that should happen on certain plays.
When you were talking after the game about, the defense is playing so well, you guys offensively just need to kind of play good, clean football. What are some of the areas that you're focused on when you talk about?
Well, I think first of all, good football teams and good offenses, because you're good, you do those things. But I think when you do talk about those things, as a team, you always talk about playing complementary football. And sometimes when it's not pretty, it doesn't mean it's not good. And there's going to be times where you're going to have to punt the ball and pin them back and rely on those guys to get a stop and get us good field position. And I think as an offense, when you are talking about playing complementary football, it's realizing some of those things throughout the course of a game, that sometimes even though things don't feel great, that it still may be a positive. And then when we do get our chances, just taking advantage of that. So if we do get short fields and stuff like that, taking advantage when we get the opportunity.
So from your standpoint, is it a lot of not forcing things because you have that kind of backstop of the defense?
Right. It's just playing within yourself. And like I said, there's going to be times in a game, I think, where you do start to, feel like maybe we're not doing, what we want to on the scoreboard. So then you start to press and, we don't have any reason to do that. Just continue to play our game. And I think that's just a good reminder in general for this league, is to let the game come to you a little bit, and you never know how it's going to play out in the third and fourth quarters.
Hey, Joe, the Ravens defensive backs really had your receivers covered tightly. Is there anything scheme-wise going forward that you guys can do to change that?
I think each week we're looking at different ways to make things a little bit easier and get guys in some space, because anytime you get good athletes in space, that's when big plays happen, and that's what you need to do in this league in order to kind of put points on the board, is get some of those chunk plays. But at the same time, you're going to play some games where things are tight, and you got to be able to operate in those environments. Baltimore's a good defense, and they have been. They're traditionally a good defense, and they got some good players over there. So, sometimes it's going to be tough, and you just got to make it work.
Is there anything that you can do in a regular work week to accelerate syncing up your timing with your receivers and make sure that you have a little bit more going with Sed and with Jerry? Is there anything that you could do? I remember Amari used to always say that you guys were texting back and forth all the time and doing things, just communicating frequently. Is there anything more that you can do with your top skill players to get that going?
I don't know about more. I don't think timing is usually an issue with us. It's more about the reps. It always is about the reps. And yeah, like when you're, it's in between the periods, going and looking at it, which we do, all those things. We're communicating and we're trying to get as many extra reps as we can. And I think the biggest thing with us is we just got to continue to do those things so that it comes naturally.
I know what you said about letting the game come to you. On the other hand, Green Bay seems intentional of pushing the ball down aggressively right from the start of the game. You guys haven't had many leads this season. Is there a case to be made to be a little more aggressive in the first quarter?
For sure. I don't think when I say that it's trying to say that we shouldn't be aggressive and at least put that in people's minds that we're going to do that. It's just when you do call those plays, just don't just throw the ball up aimlessly. You know, it's still treat it as a normal play and go through your read. And if you have to take the check down, that's a good thing. I think it's just those reminders. I don't think it's necessarily let's not try to do certain things. It's just little reminders that taking the check down and doing those sorts of things, getting a 3-yard run, they aren't necessarily bad things.
Joe, the Michael Parsons trade surprised a lot of people. I'm just curious, as a guy who's been in the league for a while, are there moves that surprise you anymore that you see it, and what does he bring to the Packers defensive front?
No, nothing really surprises me. It's still fun to talk about things like that, but I think you're aware that pretty much anything can happen. And then when you watch him play, I think it's pretty obvious. I mean, it's no more obvious to me than any of you guys what he brings to a team, just in terms of his ability to line up anywhere and to get after the quarterback a little bit.
You said after the game in Baltimore that Jefferson had an impact with play, and you think he'll be better and better. So now he looks like there's a commitment for him to be the feature back. How does that affect the offense?
Well, listen, I think it's exciting for him, and the thing last week is just, we all got to go through training camp and a couple game installs and things like that, and he's showing up last week and he's trying to pick up as much as he can, and your head has to be spinning a little bit, and maybe not quite as sure. So the exciting thing this week is that he's going to get to sit in every single meeting, go out and do walkthroughs, every single walkthrough, go out and practice, get the reps. I think he's got a lot of talent, so that's what's exciting for us, is just to get an explosive guy, some touches, and see what he can do with it.
Is he the type of guy that can change how a defense kind of approaches you guys?
Listen, I think his skill will speak for itself. Just like anything in football and in offense, when it comes to him changing the game a little bit, it's kind of up to all 11 of us to kind of get that going. It's not just him. I think if we can play the kind of football that we want to, and we can get him in space, and I obviously think that's when we're going to get to see what he can do. I think he's also going to be good at taking the 2-3 yard runs when that's all that's there, and wearing on a defense. And I do think he has the ability to kind of be a game breaker. But I think those plays, those game breaker plays, are it's going to be all 11 of us working together.
Joe, you mentioned trying to get in sync with the receivers just going to take a lot of reps. So kind of going back to training camp and stuff like that, do you think that not having those first team reps hurt you guys early on in the season, or is it main contributor to that?
I don't think so. I mean, you have to bring up certain things as to what we're thinking. If we're looking at individual plays, then you can probably look at it. Listen, I feel pretty good with where I'm at with those guys. You can always be a little bit better, and each game plan brings its specific challenges to kind of go out there and you're always doing things a little bit different. But ultimately, I think we're working towards something, and we're doing a pretty good job. Just because that's part of what I'm talking about. Just because you're not going out there and throwing for 350 a game, you have to be able to stay patient and continue to do what we're doing and make little adjustments. It's just little things.
How nice will it be for you to have Jack Conklin back if he can play this week, and also have Jawan for the whole game if he's okay?
Yeah, I think anytime you get the main guys up there, that's what you want. But listen, this game is built on everybody being ready to play, and I think Cornelius has done an awesome job stepping in and doing what he's done. So, throughout the course of a game and throughout the course of a season, for sure, that different people are going to need to step up. So I think we feel confident in going that way.
It's a small sample size, but through 2 games, their run defense is the second in the league, allowed rushing yards. So how do you guys kind of balance the run and the pass game, knowing that they're holding their teams to new parts?
Yeah, they're good. They got a good front. It always presents challenges. That's what defenses are trying to do. They're trying to stop the run and make you one-dimensional, and then get after the passer. So it's our job to match that physicality and and do the best we can in those areas of the game. I mean, that's the constant battle. Anytime you're going against a team with a good front, though, they obviously, it's a challenge, and that's what we're getting ready to do this week.
The effort to open up the passing game, does facing a defensive line like the Packers, that's similar in some ways to the defensive line that you're facing every day in practice, help?
I think so. Anytime you get to go against Myles Garrett and the front that we have, it's good practice. I mean, those guys are, there's nobody better. So anytime you get to go against, guys like that are trying to get upfield and disrupt the pocket, it's good practice for your front. You're going to get beat by Myles Garrett. But I think if you have the right head to stay in there and realize that you're getting better from it, then it's a huge advantage to go against that every day.
How hard is it to say we're going to down a bunch of downfield shots when you know that a defense, especially the Packers, can bring pressure like they do? You know what I mean? Like, can't you say we're going to take a bunch of shots because you're not, you can't expect to have all day victory?
It's funny because I just don't look at it that way. As to obviously there's times where you take shots, but ultimately a lot of the times that you see those taken throughout the course of a game, it's just because they happen to, they do play this coverage, and they did play it on that time that we called it. And instead of taking the far cross or, the back on the wide, you ended up throwing a post over the top. Or, I think a lot of the times you think you're pushing those things when you complete a handful of them, but in reality, you're just playing the game, and you happen to get 5 shots that game. I think that's no different this week. Obviously, there's probably times where you're going to pick and choose those things, but that's every week. And honestly, I think Kevin and Tommy do such a great job of kind of putting it together and then kind of talking to each other and determining how they're going to call certain games and how they see it. And now it's my job to kind of understand why they're calling certain things, and then just play the play from there.
Do you feel like your foot speed is as good as it's been over the past few years, just in terms of the keepers and the bootlegs and all to the field?
Yeah, I mean, keepers. I mean, you could run 10 miles per hour and do keepers. It's not really about, the foot speed. But yeah, listen, I mean, the last couple of weeks I've had to get out of the pocket. I don't think we were super successful last week, but still you got to throw the. That's what I'm talking about. Throwing the ball away. They're positive plays, and even though we weren't necessarily successful in completing balls down the field last week, I feel good moving around and making plays outside of the pocket when it has to be done.
Good. All right. Thank you.
All right. Yep.
Chris, can you stop this up there? It's going.
So I asked Flacco that Green Bay comes right at you. They press the issue on offense. They go downfield right from the start of the game. And you guys have been kind of ball control-ish so far. Do you think there's a case to be made to be a little more aggressive in that first quarter?
Yeah, I mean, we always want to be aggressive, but also I want to take advantage of what the defense gives you too. So, we just got to play smart, and play our brand of football.
It looked like the Ravens defensive backs really had you guys covered tightly. What can you guys...
You watched film? You watched the film?
I watched the game.
Did you watch the film or you watched the game?
I did not watch the film. So did they not have you guys covered tightly?
Watch the film and come back and ask me.
I'm going to ask you, though, what can you guys do to get more separation?
Just keep running routes.
What are your thoughts on this amazing Green Bay defense? What are they doing so well, and how hard will it be for you guys to get done what you need to in the back end with that kind of pass rush?
They do a great job disguising their defense. Hard to get a hint on what coverage they're running before the snap. They do a good job of that, But overall, we just got to play our game, focus on our techniques and fundamentals on that play, on that snaps, and play fast and, adjust as the play goes. So, yeah.
And are you, speaking of film, are you watching extra film this week or doing anything else to try to get ready for a defense like this, or trying to do anything for you and Joe to even work better together than you have so far?
With a defense like this, that disguise their coverage pretty good. You try to get little tells while watching film. So the more film you watching the defense that likes to move around a lot, the better, and little hints you could get to help you on that play and to play fast. So yeah.
How much safety help are you seeing this year as opposed to past years?
It's been a lot of cloud coverages, towards my side, but, they don't really do too much, At the end of the day, I got to play fast and play my game and, execute my plays.
Jerry, do you feel like, offensively, just one big play can get the ball rolling for you? Not just you individually, but just as a unit, just need that to pop the big one?
Yeah, of course. I feel like, as an offense, that's what every offensive guy look for. That one big play, that one spark that just gives the offense momentum, and just take advantage of that, and I feel like, we need that for sure.
Well, and Kevin told us that he's sticking with Joe Flacco, and he believes that it's just a little bit of everything that needs to go better.
Yeah.
Is that how you see it?
Yeah, it is a little bit of everything. Like I said, it's a team sport, so to be a good team, you need all the 11 guys on offense and defense to do their job and execute their assignment and do what they're supposed to do, so the guy next to him could do his job. So that's the biggest thing.
Do you guys feel like you're closer to making that work than it might reflect on the scoreboard?
Yeah, I think we're improving every week. I think we got a great group of guys here that know that what we need to get done. That come here each week and just come to practice, work hard, and do what they need to do to, prepare for the week. And I feel like we got a great group of guys that know how to do that.
Joe was saying that you never want to press as an offense, and maybe you had some of that on Sunday. What does that look like for an offense when you guys are pressing? What is that?
Not taking what the defense give us. We could, if it's a 5-yard route, but it's a play for a deep shot, but they cover it, take that 5-yard route. Stuff like that. Just taking what the defense give us.
Jerry, the Packers have 8 sacks, 18 QB hits, 33 QB pressures. When they bring that type of heat, I'm not asking you to give any game plan stuff away, but what maybe can you do to help Joe out as far as dealing with that type of pressure they bring?
That type of pressure, depending on how much pressure they bring, you just gotta, as a receiver, to play fast. Get into your break a little bit faster than usual. Less tempo on the routes and just being a little bit more definitive for the quarterback, so he could know where you be at, hit you right on that spot. So, yeah, just be a little bit more defined. And
take 2 more.
When you look at this offense, you got you, Seth, David, Harold, and now Quinshon. Do you still firmly believe that, this can be an explosive offense, and do you feel like it's just kind of a matter of time before it comes together?
Yeah, for sure. It's only week 2, man. We got what, 14, 13, 12 games left. We got a bunch of games left. I feel like once we start clicking, it's going to just trickle down from there, and I feel like we got a great group of guys that know what to do and are ready to do that.
Jerry, 0-2 can happen to just about anybody in this league. First 2 weeks are kind of a grab bag. How do you keep it
not spiraling into something more, just keeping it those two?
Like I said, it's only the second week. You know, we got a bunch of games left. You know, we can't let these last 2 games define our season. You know, so you know, we just got to keep our head up, keep working, and eventually we're gonna get to where we need to go at.
And I know you guys weren't happy about being 11.5-point underdogs last week. Now here you're coming home into your own house and you're 8.5-point underdogs to the Packers. How do you feel about that?
You know, I don't really pay too much attention to the underdog, overdog, whatever that is. You know, I just focus on the guys within here and to have the best week we have, and, you know, and prepare for the game on Sunday.
All right.
Thank you. Hey, you gotta watch that film, boy.